You might have heard the term stims. We call them isms. Now, what is an ism? An ism is, and you've probably seen your child do this, it's something your child does repetitiously, exclusively. That means they just do it for their own enjoyment and to the exclusion of everything else. This might be things like your child flapping their hands, your child walking on their toes, making certain sounds, flipping pages in a book. It might be some children take little matchbox cars and just spin the wheels, or line things up, or put things in patterns. Some children who are higher functioning or who have Asperger's syndrome, they might tell stories about topics that they're incredibly interested in, or ask questions repeatedly, but mostly to themselves. It's not really so they can have a back and forth communication with someone, but it is, again, exclusive and repetitious and self-stimulating. We have a very unique way of dealing with that. Let's look at your standard therapeutic approach to that. That would be that these are behaviors that aren't okay and that we have to try and stop the child from doing them. And that's a way that we're going to get the child to be more interactive. Now, if you have a child who's diagnosed with autism or on the autism spectrum, you've tried that and it doesn't work. It can work momentarily when you take their ism toy away from them, but invariably they come back to it or they find something else, and the result is not an engaged human being. Actually, oftentimes when things are taken away from children, it's not often done in the most respectful way. What we're really focusing on is creating a really engaged social relationship between you and your child, or between ourselves and the child that we're working with. That's why we take a really different and I think exciting approach. And that is, we actually join in with these behaviors. We see the behavior as a doorway to creating a relationship. Let me describe to you now exactly what joining is. What it is it's doing exactly what your child is doing and doing it with them. So the first thing you want to do is actually just take a moment and look at your child. Actually observe what they're doing. Let's say your child's flipping a book. Just sit and look at them. Do they flip 5 pages and then stop? Do they flip the whole book and then turn it over and flip it again? Just observe so you can really see what they're doing. Then place yourself about 2 or 3 feet away. If your child has a book, you're going to get a book. You're going to sit there with them and you're going to endeavor to do exactly what your child is doing. And you're going to think of it as joining in with their game. And their game is flipping a book. So now you're going to flip the book with them. And you're going to think of it sort of as tandem dancing. So you're going to look, can I synchronize my way of playing with this so that it's the same way that my child is doing it? So you're going to flip the book and they're going to flip the book. And you're going to do that with them. And I would do that for at least 15 minutes. If your child's lining up blocks, you're going to get your own blocks. You're going to line them up. You're going to put your block down at the same rhythm and the same pacing as your child is putting their block down. If your child's walking in a pattern, you're going to walk in a pattern. If your child's saying a phrase over and over again, you're going to say that phrase. If your child has a topic that they really want to tell you about, you're going to become a very excited and engaged listener who's very interested in that topic and wants to hear about that topic and wants to know about that topic and is joining in with the enthusiasm over the topic. The idea is to do this really with sincerity. So this isn't about going through the motions while you're thinking about a laundry list of things you have to buy at the supermarket. This is actually using the joining as a way to connect. Think of it as this is your child's language, and you are saying that you love them and that you care about them and that you want to be close to them. You're saying it in a language that they can understand. And I'd recommend that you do this for at least 15 minutes, and I do it 3, 4, 5 times. Now, some children, they respond immediately. Within the first 2 minutes, you're going to see signs from them that they're responding to what you're doing. They might look at you. They might lean into you. They might share their items with you. Other children, they require a little more convincing. Perhaps they've had their toys taken away from them in the past. Perhaps they're not as open. And so you might find that the first time for 15 minutes, you might not see any particular way that they respond. But go back and do it again. and then go back and do it again. And show your child that you really want to be close to them, that you really want to have a relationship with them, and think of this as your way to truly love them. Our program is based on an attitude of love, acceptance, and respect. And that's why, rather than trying to force a child to conform to a world that they don't understand or that doesn't make sense to them, we endeavor to go with them, to be really respectful and caring. And so what we do is we actually see the ism, the repetitious behavior, as a doorway to expressing our warmth, our care, and our love. And actually as a way to build a relationship and to build a connection. And so what we do is we actually venture to go into a child's world, to actually be with them where they are if they don't feel quite ready to be with us where we are. And through joining, we're able to build a connection. And once there is a connection, then we can really invite a child to be engaged with us. So in effect, they show us the way in, and then we show them the way out.